Let the China sleep. When she will wake up, she will shake the world, regardless of whether or not Napoleon actually did say this and what he meant by it. China is definitely awakened, and it is radically transforming the world economy. Since 1980, China's economy has grown miraculously faster than any other nation in the world. But was China ever sleeping? And what woke it up? Many would argue that it was due to century of humiliation by foreign powers, and some would say this it was due to internal civil wars. But there isn't any absolute answer to this question. However, what we can answer and analyze is how China, from being a poor country in 19th century, emerged spectacularly as major economic power with a GDP of $14.34 trillion and has uplifted its more than 800 million people out of poverty within just 40 years. And it is projected that by 2040 China will overtake the USA as world's largest economy.
We observe an incredible rebalancing of the Chinese economy at a faster pace than anyone else.
Welcome to this video. This is Danish Qureshi, and in this video we are gonna talk about economic rise and factors behind this rapid economic growth of China. But before that, please make sure to subscribe to my channel, which will motivate me and will keep you guys updated when I will post new videos. After the end of brutal civil war, the Communist Party came to power and declared People's Republic of China, and Mao Zedong became China's new leader in 1949. With the aim to modernize and industrialize rural areas, Mao Zedong introduced a campaign called Great Leap Forward. Though the Great Leap Forward had some successful aspects, vital infrastructures such as railroads, bridges, canals, power stations, mines, and irrigation system were improved. But in the rush to industrialize, this project costed greater than benefits. Ultimately, this plan resulted as failure with devastating famine, which led to 56 million deaths, including 3 million by suicide. Mao Zedong's position weakened in his Communist Party, so in order to reassert his authority in his party, he launched a cultural revolution in 1966. He shut down nation's schools and colleges and mobilized massive youth, which later transformed into a paramilitary group called Red Guards. As the situation escalated, those guards started to attack elder and intellectual population to get rid of four orders: old customs, old culture, and old habits and old ideas. As a result, ethnic and religious communities like Buddhists, Christians, Muslims, Mongolians, Uyghurs, Koreans, Tibetans were prosecuted or killed. And this so-called revolution continued in many phases until the death of Mao Zedong in 1976. After the death of Mao Zedong, Deng Xiaoping became the leader of China, who is called the father of modern China, the China that we know today. Like Mao, he also wanted to modern China, but with capitalistic approach. Together with the communism, to facilitate China's growth, she had to go through four modernization: agriculture, industry, science, and technology. As a part of modernization program, agriculture reforms were introduced. Deng Xiaoping knew how to utilize China's huge population in order to lift China out of poverty. During the Mao era, agriculture was controlled and collectivized by government, and laborers were only getting basic wages. Therefore, Deng began by dismantling old policies as he began decentralizing planning from central government to provisional government. Now, unlike before, farmers were now allowed to own the land and hire certain number of laborers and sell their surpluses. As for laborers, they were given time leases and incentives. As a result of such reforms, gradually China witnessed rapid economic growth from 1978 to 1985. Just production of wheat doubled from 41 million tons to 87 million tons. By the time Deng Xiaoping took power in 1978, science and technology was stagnated as education was completely disrupted during the Cultural Revolution. To reverse the course, Deng introduced a crash training program for 8 lakh researchers in areas like energy production, computer optics, space and technology, and genetics. Deng encouraged students to travel overseas to gain scientific and technological education. In 1978 alone, 480 students were sent in 28 different countries. During 90s, East Asian companies like Japan's Sony, Panasonic, South Korea's LG and Samsung products like TV, fridge, radio, they were in high demand in the world. But to expand, they did not have enough labor and land. Here, China invited these companies to set up their plant in China because they had enough inexpensive labor and land. That's where China's unstoppable growth journey began. Gradually, local Chinese entrepreneurs utilized the available technology from these companies and set up manufacturing plants for electronic consumer goods, telephone, VCR, television, etc. Under this strategy, China established special economic zones, ecosystem, tax tariffs and duties were reduced in these special economic zones, as well as China strengthened supply chain, which included high-speed railways, express railways, electronic grids, etc. to attract foreign investors. In 1980s, first economic zone was Shenzhen in Guangdong province, where today are more than 60,000 factories. This province today is involved in 30% China's export. This is why this province is also known as Silicon Valley of China today. Taiwanese company Foxconn opened the first factory in Shenzhen in 1988, and later South Korean company like Samsung also came here. During late 90s, in USA, internet and computer technology emerged, in which companies like HP, Dell and Apple were involved. These companies also required cheap labor to manufacture their hardware products. As East Asian company already strengthened China's economy, hence now China was in a better bargaining position. Therefore, China introduced the idea of conditional foreign investment, where China ordered foreign companies to tie up with local companies and share their technology. Because of this, small companies and in existing foreign plants components of all big companies started to get produced. For example, today China through Foxconn produces its own Apple products. Many other companies like HP, Dell, Compaq, computer production and assembling began in China. However, soon local Chinese companies started to replicate their technology at much cheaper rate. As a result, China began mass production of cheaper goods and started to dump them in third world countries. Primarily example of such goods is cheap Chinese smartphones and laptops. Demand of these cheap smartphones and laptops increased rapidly in 2000s. Initially, their quality wasn't good enough, but later by more investment by China, their quality also improved. This is the reason today companies like Lenovo and Xiaomi are emerging as global brands. When in America, Google, Facebook, Microsoft-led service industry was booming, China also benefited from them due to her major skilled labor force. This shift in service industry contributed from 25% in 1975 to 54% in 2019. Today, in China, there are headquarters of world-renowned IT companies like Google, Intel, AMD, Oracle, MySpace, etc. Even Microsoft has $280 million research center headquartered in China. But wait, soon local Chinese companies started to manufacture their own technology. For example, Alibaba e-commerce company, which has consolidated elements of Google, eBay, Amazon together. And another example, Tencent's app WeChat, which gradually became super global app, and Baidu, which is grown since then in 80 different countries. China had grown rapidly from 1990s to 2010, but global financial crisis of 2008 plus aging population of China, increasing wage and Chinese predatory policy by Western countries affected China's economy very badly. Due to such circumstances, Chinese President Xi Jinping adopted Go Global strategy and ordered all Chinese companies to invest in foreign countries. Under this strategy, Belt and Road Initiative became very much important project. Later, through Belt and Road Initiative, Chinese investment today has spread over Asia, Europe and Africa. How today we see China as emerging global power might be surprising for us, but from perspective of China, it's simple regaining its lost position as number one, a spot China occupies from 2000 years. China's ancient Han dynasty was far richer than Roman Empire. Paper woodlock, printing, gunpowder, compass was invented in China before 2000 year when West was in its dark age. China used to be a leading country in the world, and modern position of China is simply return of normal to them. What are your opinions? Comment down below, and if you like this video then subscribe and share this video.